Alright, hey guys. Okay, so right now I'm actually online at my son's school waiting for him to get out so I can pick him up. So I figured I would just record a random video. And I figured, why not? Let's talk Saw X. Now, I got a lot of shit to say. Now, as everyone knows, I'm a big fan of the Saw series. I did a ranking a few years back. This is before Spiral even came out. For the record, I fucking love Spiral. But with Saw X, how do I put this? You know, what I appreciated about Jigsaw and Spiral, what I really liked about both of them, was they respected what came before, but tried to evolve the series forward. Tried to do some new shit. Okay, but apparently, people didn't want that. We want the same old shit. We want the same old crap that we've had a million times. And thus, this is where Saw X comes in, because that's exactly what these writers fucking gave us. It's the same shit. There is nothing that evolves this series forward, especially when you take into effect that it takes place in between parts 1 and 2. So that's a problem I had with the film. Now, for the record, I did enjoy the movie. I enjoyed it immensely. Okay, I'll say this, though. I'll say this for it. I loved the scenes between John Kramer and Amanda Young. I thought all that shit was great. But first, let's just talk the traps, okay? The traps in this movie fucking suck, guys. All right, for one, you have the eyeball thing, like the fucking tube sticking out of the eyes, the one you've seen in all the fucking marketing. That is the easiest fucking trap to win I think I've ever seen in these movies, okay? Dude, grow a pair of fucking nuts, dial that shit all the way up to 5, and just break all your fingers at once. It's like, oh gee, would I rather have my fingers broken for a few weeks, or would I rather have my fucking eyes ripped out of my fucking socket? Like, dear God, that was the easiest goddamn trap I think I've ever seen in my life. And yes, listen, I know it was like a dream thing that John Kramer, he was like imagining it. It wasn't like really happening, but still, how do you see anyone losing that? How does anyone lose that? You gotta be the biggest dumbass on the planet to lose that fucking trap. All right. Now, when we get to the other ones, okay, when it came to the pipe bomb trap, dude, like, he had to cut through his flesh to remove the pipe bombs. And when he's done, John Kramer comes over to him and like, you're gonna be okay. Bullshit! Motherfucker would have died from blood loss at that point. Or would have passed out from shock on the first arm. Bullshit, he's gonna be okay. Alright, like, then you get to the chick with the fucking wire saw or whatever it is, which has to cut off her goddamn leg. And this is where the traps start pissing me off. Okay, because you would think severing the leg would be enough. No, that wasn't enough in this instance. It wasn't enough. No, she has to slowly saw off her fucking leg, okay, take a fucking tube, shove it in the leg, get some bone marrow out, hopefully fill up this tube in the time allotted, because, by the way, she's only got 3 minutes to do all this shit. Alright, it's like, no, you can't just saw off the leg, okay? You gotta put this tube in, you gotta get some bone marrow out, it's gotta fill up this thing, okay? All the way to the top, you gotta fill out a form, mail that away, send in your social security number. It's so elaborate and stupid, to the point of hilarity. Then you get to the guy who has to cut out a piece of his own brain. Which, again, I contend, he had no anesthetic whatsoever, he would have passed out from fucking shock of just having to do that. But, you know, whatever. I can suspend my disbelief for that. Okay, but again, you'd think sawing open a piece of your skull and taking a piece of your brain out would be enough for Jigsaw. No! Oh, but no! Not at all! No. See, he has to... in 3 minutes, this is what he has to do. He has to take a bone saw, cut 3 of his fucking... He has to take a surgical saw, cut a square out of the back of his skull. Okay, that's number one. Then he has to take these tongs or whatever, take a piece of his brain out, Okay, which, you know, could have been any part of his brain. I mean, like, he might not even know where the fuck he is at that point. All right, but he has to take the piece of his brain out, put it in this liquid, which will dissolve the brain matter and will eventually unlock this key that will get this thing off of him. You know, whatever happened to, okay, this person's trapped. If you can get this key and unlock it in time, they're good. You know, whatever happened to just rip the key out of the guy's stomach and unlock it, you're good. You know, like, you couldn't just keep it simple. No, you had to, like, do the most over-elaborate shit imaginable. And then you got the chick with the radiation. Okay, first of all, yeah, she's got to break her hand and her ankle to get out of the radiation's path. First of all right, I don't know why, you know, that Cecilia bitch, I guess she was setting her up to die, because all she had to do was unhook her hand. She would have fallen to the floor, and she could have found a place to fucking hide from the radiation until she could hammer out her fucking ankle. Would have brought her some more fucking time. All right. But even so, dude, she's got radiation poisoning for fucking life. Her life is fucked. Okay, and after she wins it, Jigsaw's like, get her to a hospital. Dude, the fuck's a hospital gonna do at this point? She is so loaded with radiation poisoning, her face is dissolving. The shit. Then, you know, the final trap with the Cecilia, or the bloodboarding thing, is based entirely on fucking happenstance. Okay, because at that point, you had to completely predict that Cecilia and her boy toy would go up into the fucking office, remove this wire that was hidden in the fucking corner behind a bag, and start their game, and then that would release the bloodboarding thing. Like, dude, how did you know they weren't just gonna wait for you to die? How did you know they wouldn't just shoot you right there and then, instead of putting you in a trap? Like a million things. It reminded me, you know, and again, this isn't a knock against Heath Ledger or nothing, but this reminded me of the Joker in Dark Knight, where like a million things had to go his way in order for his plan to work. Okay, that's kind of what happened at the end here. And it just did not work for me. But what pissed me off even more was, you know, the Cecilia bitch is the worst. She's the worst of all these scammers. Okay, and like, yeah, she's a villain you love to hate. Like, you want to see this bitch fucking get hers for what she fucking does, and what she does to people, and what she did to John. You want to see her get hers. So, for her cohorts, it was saw off your leg, get radiation poisoning, and take a piece of your brain out. For her, it was, hey, stick your head out this hole and you'll live. I want to see that again. For cohorts, it was saw off your fucking leg, get radiation poisoning, and take out a piece of your brain. For her, it was stick your head out a fucking hole. And she lived. And she lives in the end. So, yeah. Before John Kramer even reveals to the world that he's Jigsaw, which he didn't do until Saw 2, you know, he's got someone living, still alive, who knows that he's Jigsaw. Which, again, is another issue, because if any of these people lived, any one of them could have ratted him. He'd have been fucked. Because he doesn't use Billy. Well, I mean, he uses Billy at one point in the movie, but, like, he's not hiding anymore. He's not hiding behind, you know, he doesn't have any anonymity now. Neither does Amanda, for that matter. Okay, and you could argue, oh, well, this is personal for John. Okay, no. I get that it's personal for John. Okay, because, I mean, they promised him life, and they just took his money and said, fuck you. Yeah, okay, I get that. Here's the problem. Especially when you rewatch these films in order. In Saw 5, Jigsaw goes on this whole spiel to Hoffman about how it can't be personal. I don't know, this one seemed pretty fucking personal to me. So, yeah, that's a fucking plot hole. So, yeah, I have a lot of issues with this fucking movie, in case you couldn't tell. All right, the least of which was, honestly, how old John and Amanda look now. And please don't get me wrong, Shawnee Smith, still gorgeous. I'd reverse her bear trap any night, but you get my point. Okay, if you're watching the first film, then this, then go to Saw 2, how much older she looks in this and how young she looked in Saw 2 is beyond distracting. Okay, but again, I can let that go because their acting was so fucking good. And again, Shawnee Smith, still fucking gorgeous, don't give a shit. And I will say, Tobin Bell, still awesome as ever as Jigsaw. But dear God, like, everyone's treating this movie like it's the fucking Messiah, guys. They're treating it like it's the Messiah, like it's the best Saw film. Even critics are jerking this movie off. It's got like an 83 or something on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm like, really? Over Spiral? Over Saw? Over the original Saw? Over Saw 3? This is the first one to get a positive rating? I don't get it. I don't see it. And listen, I enjoyed the movie. I had fun with it. Okay, like I do with most Saw films. Again, I don't hate any film in this series, as I said in my ranking a few years back. I think every film brings something different to the table. In this one, this seemed like a more personal story for John, which that aspect I did enjoy because it allowed Tobin Bell to show off his acting chops a little more. All right. I would contend he's great in any appearance he has as Jigsaw. I think he's phenomenal in this fucking role. Okay, but here I guess you get a little bit more of him. That's fair, and there's more introspection on him and Amanda's relationship, which I enjoyed. But yeah. Overall, the traps pissed me off. I mean, yeah, the people in the traps. I mean, more so the fucking bitch who got to live in the end for some reason. I mean, you want to see die. And goddamn, how come the one person you wanted to see die didn't die? Like, the one person that actually fucking deserved it was the one who didn't. Jesus fuck, guys. You know, I mean, yeah, okay, Hoffman. You got Hoffman in there, but from the earlier films, but yeah, Hoffman was a psycho, and the whole thing was about how he got his comeuppance, and what happened with his and how he got his comeuppance from Dr. Gordon was incredibly satisfying. He just gets left in that room to rot and die. But Cecilia, bitch, like, she stuck her head out a fucking hole. Out a fucking hole? Come on. This is bullshit, guys. Oh, sorry, I blocked the camera for a second. I'm sitting in a car, guys. This is distracting. So, yeah, overall, if I was giving this a rating, again, it's filmed great. The acting's very good in the movie. Just the way it's shot's awesome. The cinematography, all that's good. Just some of the writing and some of the fucking, and just the way the traps were done, it was not satisfying to me. I'm sorry, it was not satisfying. To me, that everyone's claiming this like it's the best one. To me, this is mid-tier Saw at best. Okay, and out of the three movies, now you got Pete Goldfinger and Josh Stolberg, who wrote Jigsaw, Spiral, and now this. I think this is by far the weakest one they've done. By far. I'm sorry. And again, I'm not going to sit here and lie about my opinion. If I was giving the movie a rating, guys, You know what? Just because I can't, despite my issues, I can't deny I did enjoy the movie while I was watching it. I'll be generous and give this a B minus. A B minus, I think, is fair. But again, this is mid-tier Saw at best. Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and lie about my opinion about it just to go along with the crowd. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know how other people aren't having these issues with the film. I just don't think it's as great as other people are making it out to be. So, yeah. So, and again, sorry about the whole, vlog thing. But I hope you at least enjoyed hearing my opinion on this movie, guys. And, hopefully I'll have my computer and everything set up soon. And, I can get more, better quality videos out for you guys. So, all right. Later, guys. You are all awesome. Thank you for watching the review.